Hey man, if you're watching this video, let's probably get to the point. You may have failed one of your New Year's resolutions. A New Year's resolution is a tradition that we have here in the West. It's not something that's really present anywhere else in the world. It's spreading slowly to other countries like a creeping vintage thing, sort of like Halloween. But it's most common here in the US and places like the UK and Australia, I'm pretty sure, as well as other Commonwealth countries. Whereas in the Europe and in the East, it's common to just, get your shit together at any time. We here in the US feel the need to create a new year, new me. So the expectation is that as soon as the clock strikes 12 and it turns from December 31st into January 1st, by drinking alcohol, you will actually make yourself a better person in the new year. And hopefully, in a year's time, you won't be in the same exact spot as you are now. But the truth is, if you start out the new year in a relationship, there's a good chance that your relationship will fall apart during that year. If you started out in a job, there's always the possibility that you may get laid off from your job. And if you started with a resolution, a plan to do something, there's a very small probability you'll stick to it. Because sticking to plans is something that you develop. If you've never stuck to a New Year's resolution before, you can't expect to do it out of the blue. You have to learn to become disciplined and actually push yourself to do something. All your life, through the education system, you've been used to people telling you what to do. You've been used to having a teacher or a mommy or a daddy there to tell you don't touch the stove or do your homework. And to teach yourself to push towards the positive habits and stuff that will develop you is actually something that's really extraneous and difficult to do. Discipline is a powerful character trait because it is not easily developed. And it's exponential. See, ironically, you need discipline to develop discipline. And the sheer way to do that is by sticking to a habit. But by setting stuff like New Year's resolutions, we just set out an expectation. We imagine ourselves at the goal, at the finish line someday. Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym every single day this year. And then at the end of the year, you imagine yourself just coming back to your New Year's party, probably in the exact same spot, but being jacked as hell. The thing is, there's a likelihood that won't happen. And the overwhelming reason why is that you've never set an expectation that high of yourself before. If you're not going to the gym at least 2-3 times a week, what are you here making an expectation of yourself to go every day? When you wake up tomorrow, you'll still be the same person you were yesterday. Your capacity to do things has not changed, and your mindset probably hasn't either. New Year's resolutions are like current events on Instagram. They're like those little activism stories that people post. Pray for so-and-so and justice for so-and-so. And then in a month, everyone forgets. They're the thing that the awkward nerd talks about at the party. Hey Stacy, haven't seen you in a while. What are your New Year's resolutions? Shut up. You know my New Year's resolution? My New Year's resolution is to become president of the United States. And by the end of this year, I'll become president of the United States. I'm just as likely to become president of the United States by the end of this year, which is not an election year, as you are to go to the gym every day. Because if you've never set an expectation for yourself before, then it's going to be very difficult to set it this time around. Let me put it this way. What do you really expect of yourself? In the book Atomic Habits, the author goes over how it is actually better for the human brain, temporarily, to set a resolution and then just do it for a little bit and then leave it be than to actually stick to it. Because if you set the goal for yourself to go to the gym every day, I keep using this example, but it's relevant, trust me. And then you go to the gym for one day, and then you think to yourself, well, I went yesterday, so I can skip maybe a day or two, it won't harm me, I can go every single other day as well. It doesn't feel as shit as it would if you canceled on the goal completely, but you're still not reaching the goal. It's like if you set yourself out to do 200 push-ups by the end of today, and if you did 100. Like, you wouldn't feel great about it, but you wouldn't feel bad about it either. And that seems to be the sort of middle spot that most people go to, which is one of the greatest problems in setting habits. Atomic Habits is like a 4-hour read. It really doesn't take that long to get. And it goes over some very basic psychological tricks that you can use to make your brain convinced that following a certain path is actually the best way to get there. Because your brain doesn't understand it intrinsically. Human brains haven't evolved all that much through the year. And once you master that art of thinking, then the attaining discipline actually becomes a much nicer experience. So this is something that I encourage for you if you failed your New Year's resolution. For next year, I advise you to not set resolutions and actually start on the things that you want to do as soon as possible. And if that's a difficult thing to imagine, then set the goal of starting in December 1st. What's wrong with getting a month ahead of everyone else? Like, will it really hurt you that much if you do something for 13 months rather than 12? If you quit smoking a bit earlier? If you quit alcohol a bit earlier? If you start exercising a bit earlier? If you work on your passion project or your business or your side hustle a bit earlier? Will it really hurt you, Jonathan? No, well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.